It's the 10 to 1 podcast with your host, Brad Oman, featuring Ben Konowitz and Nate Loucks. And here's the podcast.
Welcome, friends. Good to see you. Welcome back to the show. I'm just grateful on this holiday episode.
You're just so cheery around the holidays.
To have you with us.
You love Christmas so much, Nate.
I love it so much. I watch all the movies, all of them.
You love it so much. You counted how many poinsettias were on the stage.
What stage?
On Chris Rock's stage.
Oh, yeah, no, there were 34.
That was a lot more than that, I think.
No.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to guess that
There were a lot of flowers on that
I
stage.
don't know. I'm going to say there were probably about 34.
Nah, did
You're
you
talking
count?
about 34 like pots or like
pots.
individual flowers?
No, pots.
Oh, okay.
On the
No, it was an homage to Miracle on 34th Street. That's why they had 34.
I don't believe it.
Yeah, but you don't believe in God.
Let's take a dark turn. I think we're thinking about Go Flix Yourself on other podcasts where we just start riffing and making fun of each other immediately.
Well, it was a Chris Rockmas.
Oh, no.
Ha, sha, 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 sha.
Put that in the time code. We're going to edit that out.
This is the second to last episode of 2024 for Saturday Night Live in their 50th season. I believe this was the 9th episode overall?
Yes, episode 9.
Episode 9, hosted by Chris Rock.
What episode for the total amount of episodes?
Oh, that's a good question.
We're inching closer to 1,000.
I'm going to say 982.
I'm going to say 9/11.
Oh, that's in New York City. That's a little rough.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, shit.
So 977.
I win. Musical guest Gracie Abrams, who, in case you didn't know,
Stacey Abrams' cousin.
no, J.J. Abrams' daughter.
Was that not? Got Nate on that one. Oh, political Nate.
Good.
Got him.
That was good.
J.J. Abrams' daughter.
Oh, there we go.
Yes.
All right.
Somebody put on the Reddit, I think on the subreddit, where it was like, it must be nice to have a dad where he makes the rest of the world to go to your recitals.
Oh my God, that's so brutal.
The funny thing is a lot
My
of people,
daughter loves Gracie Abrams.
yeah, there's a ton of people who, it's not like if people.
She's so good. She's so
Here-
talented.
Yeah, and also she doesn't like deny the Nepo baby status she has either. It's fine. You still have to be talented for the most part in order to have a reception
Listen,
and get a fan base.
they'll put you in front of people, and those people still get to judge you.
Yeah.
And I get it. If you get your foot in the door, it's a lot easier. Of course it is. But you're right, Brad. You've got to fucking bring it.
Yeah.
And especially with that exterior pressure or that external pressure of like, hey, I'm putting my reputation on the line here for you. So that's just a crazy amount of pressure for that kid.
Not all the Baldwins were created equal.
Clearly. I mean,
Who is the least best Baldwin?
Billy,
I don't know. It's probably Alec. He killed a guy.
Adam.
Adam is he's not a real Baldwin brother, but Adam Baldwin is a piece of shit. Yeah, Adam Baldwin sucks. For those of you who don't know, Adam Baldwin played one of the military guys in Independence Day, and he was in Firefly.
He's almost always in a military role.
Yeah,
He was probably, you know what? I don't know if this is true, but he was probably in Small Soldiers. That feels like a role that he'd be in.
Nah, he wasn't.
No?
No.
Okay, well, I tried.
But he's a right wing dumb fuck.
Jesus.
But let's
We
talk-
are Go Flixing Yourself.
Yeah, this
today,
is
by
Go
the
Flix.
way.
Yeah, this is going to be the crass version of rocking around the Christmas tree with Chris Rock.
Chris rocking around the Christmas tree.
That's what I just said.
Chris rocking around
Now-
the Christmas tree at Chris Rock's house today.
Now, Brad,
Boodle-doo-doo-doo.
did you know, because I know you're the youngest on this podcast, did you know that Chris Rock is a former cast member?
Of what?
Of
In Living Color.
Saturday Night Live. Did you know that?
No, I didn't even know the show started before 2005.
This is fun. This is a fun bit. So Chris Rock has hosted. This is his fourth time. Mm-hmm. The last time was 2016?
2020, but good prep.
2020.
Close.
There's another election year, a little nail biter. Here's the thing that I was curious about. Chris Rock was a terrible sketch performer when he was on the show, and then you don't do it for a long time, and they keep letting him host. And I was wondering why. Because he's not great at sketches.
I will say, I don't think Chris Rock was terrible when he was on the show, but it was not a strong performance from
Chris
him.
Rock found his voice in stand-up. He is one of the most influential and tremendous and most hilarious stand-ups of all time, and that's, to me, not debatable. He is a genius there. This is not that, and so that's why I just don't get why it's like, okay,
Yeah, no, I don't
let's
disagree.
just let him come on and ruin a lot of.
I don't disagree
Otherwise,
with you.
sketches.
And yeah, I think as we'll get into and dig into this, we'll talk about how rough this episode is, and a lot of it does fall on him. Some of it doesn't fall on him though.
A lot of it does.
But one particular part
A lot of it does.
was not his fault at all.
Okay, we'll talk
actually.
about all this.
But yeah, let's just dig in. Let's dig into this episode.
What do we got first? We got a Nancy Grace cold open, Nate.
Yes, we do. Cold Open, Crime Stories with Nancy Grace. Nancy Grace, played by Sarah Sherman, reports on the latest crime stories. It also features Ashley Padilla, Marcel Hernandez, Kenan Thompson, and Emil Wachim. This is Sarah Sherman's 7th time saying live from New York. She's just a regular at the job now.
Yep.
What did you think of A, this sketch, and B, Sarah Sherman doing Nancy Grace, someone that I didn't know still existed?
I forgot that she actually still has a show. Is that on YouTube for real?
I think she.
I'm
does,
sure.
now.
I'm
Okay.
sure it is.
I like that Sarah Sherman's Nancy Grace is different from the Nancy Graces that we've seen before, because she kind of brought a little bit of a Dr. Steve Brule to it by adding R's into certain words that don't have that many R's. And I like that she leaned more into doing a parody of the way she talks as opposed to,
Trying to get an exact impersonation.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
Anna
It's been
Gasteyer
done before, yeah.
Yeah.
Anna Gasteyer did Nancy Grace. Amy Poehler's done it, Nancy Grace. Amy Poehler more than anyone did Nancy Grace. Abby Elliott, Noelle Wells, and now Sarah Sherman.
Yeah. And I think
I like this take.
Yeah, it's a different approach. It's a lot of fun. And I like that it was relevant and topical without dealing with politics. It was a nice change of pace. It didn't necessarily mean that this was great. It was.
This is better than your standard cold open, and the reason is the format. The Marcelo Hernandez coming in and yelling at me
Yeah.
was amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I really like that they decided to do that.
Yeah, I thought it was fine. I didn't think it was great, but I thought it was fine.
I was nice seeing Sarah Sherman being the one carrying a cold open on her own, basically.
She crushed it. That helmet hair too.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, good job, costume department.
All right, moving on. Monologue as he returns to SNL as a host for the 4th time. Former cast member Chris Rock shares insights on his stand-up focused on Mike Tyson's bout with Jake Paul, Donald Trump's presidential ambitions, and President Biden's decision to pardon his son Hunter. This is the first former cast member they've had host in season 50. Now, they've had a ton of former cast members on the show, right? Mm-hmm. It's been a hodgepodge of, Dana Carvey this is the first episode Dana Carvey hasn't been in, honestly. And so Chris Rock's obviously known for his stand-up, more so than being on SNL. I like Chris Rock as a stand-up comedian. I thought this was a little bit of a mess, honestly. I didn't think this was great.
So there's some really sharp stuff in here. I thought
Sometimes drug dealers get shot.
Yes.
Is maybe one of the funniest takes on the whole, assassination thing that we've heard, right?
Yeah.
That's a great one line.
It is.
It doesn't absolve him for the rest of what the fuck was a lot of that.
But I think that I think there's some of the material here is new, and I think that he still doesn't have like transitions in between them locked down and stuff like that, because it felt like he was sometimes filling things and forgot where he was going. I do think, as has been a tradition as far as like what the best stuff is that Chris Rock does, is the racial stuff he did, I think, was on point and really good. When he started talking about people being deported and stuff like that, and the joke about J-Lo getting back with Ben Affleck just so she doesn't get deported, that stuff was really funny. But there was a lot of just like, felt like kind of like stop and go and stilted. Yeah, exactly. He was kind of like sputtering almost, like trying to figure out where he was going.
And
it was clear that he doesn't have a current set that he's working through.
The other thing,
right? Some of this stuff seems new.
I think that is what he's doing, is he's working through.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this was not
he doesn't have that polished set. Yeah.
Him bringing some of his best bits from a current set.
Right.
Chris Rock has this. So his comedic voice as a stand-up, he repeats himself a lot during the setup.
Yeah.
Right. So he'll say something like, a lot of stuff going on in the news. A lot of stuff going on, and when you're in a truncated 5 to 10 minutes,
doesn't work as well.
It doesn't work as well as when you're in an hour.
Yeah.
When it's in an hour and you get to set that up, that expectation for the audience, then by half an hour in, it's fun, and you're kind of like, oh, this is the vibe.
It's a good point, Ben.
It's a little bit.
You have to be
stilted.
patient with Chris Rock at times, right? Because he's going to do that.
He'll get
right?
you there. And again, I think a lot of that.
But the setup can be a little bit delayed. And not because he's setting something up. He just kind of takes a second to get into it.
There's a lot of comedians that are like that. Unless it's Mitch Hedberg or Stephen Wright up there or Dimitri Martin telling one-liners, it's really hard for a lot of these stand-ups to truncate their sets. Bill Burr struggles too, because Bill Burr's that guy that pisses you off and then wins you back. You can't really do that in 8.5 to 11 minutes. And, we saw him not really do all that well in his stand-up spot there. So I feel like this, I wouldn't say that you judge a stand-up based on their performance on SNL. At the same time, Chris Rock and Bill Burr, they've been doing it long enough that you would think that they know how to change it up a little bit so that it's a little smoother,
Yeah, agreed.
All right, moving on. Mall Santas, a mall elf portrayed by Chris Rock, offers parents, played by Mikey Day, Heidi Gardner, Andrew Dismukes, Ashley Padilla, Sarah Sherman, and Chloe Feynman, an unusual option before snapping their photo with Santa, played by Devin Walker. Emil Walken plays Arab Santa, and Jane Wickline takes on the role of Santa number 3. So the premise of this sketch is there's a black Santa and a white Santa, and it's talking about the preferences that people have for.
You get to choose
white Santa.
Which photo would you like to forever represent Christmas in your home?
I think this was maybe the best, or at least one of the best performances by Chris Rock. He didn't have to do a ton, but what they needed him to do, he did pretty well here. And I thought this sketch was pretty funny. I liked it.
Yeah, there was a couple times when he fumbled his way through some lines, of course, and that was pretty consistent throughout the whole show. But the premise itself was strong enough. The stuff that they gave to the people that were coming up and talking to Chris Rock was also really funny. Their reactions and how they dealt with it. The stuff from the Santa Clauses was really funny as you got to hear them talk and also respond. So yeah, there was enough good stuff here that it was a solid way to follow up the monologue.
It's just unfortunate that this is like an indicator of things to come. So like Chris Rock being a little stilted, being a little like not delivering his lines perfectly, takes you out of the sketch a little bit, but not enough to really ruin anything. But this was the best we got, and it still wasn't great.
And it's interesting too, because if you look at him, at least in this sketch, he's not always reading from the cue cards.
Right.
It seems like he got some of the stuff down, but then I don't know if he just didn't. He forgot maybe where the rewrites were or certain cues and stuff like that.
He's just not a good sketch performer.
Yeah.
We know that.
Yeah, he's not great.
The only other nitpick I have is I while everything was very funny, it went on too long because they didn't escalate. It was just it's the same joke over and over again. But it's a very funny joke, but this went on a little too long.
I think that there is escalation there. It's just not as big because they do change.
That was the problem.
Yeah.
Is the escalation is
introducing
the different
Santa number
Santas,
3 is a good. Yeah,
but they didn't.
You're not changing. It's still the same. Still the same joke.
Yeah, it was always the same awkwardness of picking.
But we do have that option actually. Do you want to pick that? It's that's the same joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. All right, moving on. Simpsons Christmas gift. After opening a Secret Santa gift, a man portrayed by Chris Rock envisions himself as a character from The Simpsons. He is joined by Mikey Day, Heidi Gardner, Chloe Feynman, Andrew Dismukes, Sarah Sherman, and Emil Walken.
This could have been so good.
This seemed to have the potential, and it never got there for me. What did you guys think of this?
No, what I really like about this sketch, because I don't think it's bad, is the random absurdity that just pops up every now and then from the different characters. There's not one full on straight man. There's not one full on weird. They're all weird in their own separate ways.
And you get to see it all. And the problem is that I love the idea so much that the guy that gets the Simpsons photo doesn't really get the Simpsons as much, and then goes well, what if I did this? That's such a brilliant premise, and it's so wasted on Chris Rock's fumbling, stumbling, bumbling, moronic bullshit. It took me out of it. I wanted somebody to eat into that role and just really give it a good performance, and it really took me out of it, man.
Yeah, and I wonder, and this is just me being cynical, but I wonder if Chris Rock comes into this week and thinks, I've been on SNL for a long time, so I don't really have to put in the work. I mean,
based on what Devin Walker said about Chris Rock on his stand-up set, that's probably true.
And maybe there's a little holdover for that for me, because Brad and I went to go to Chicago. We invited Nate. He said no. And we go there and we watch Andrew Dismukes and James Austin Johnson and Devin Walker do stand-up comedy in front of a live audience. And that's a fun night, Brad.
I always love when stand-up's done in front of a live audience.
Great stand-up in front of a live audience. Nate, you should check it out sometime. We were there, and Devin Walker, we didn't think and forgive me, Brett, if I'm literally speaking for you, but we did not think after that set and what he said about Chris Rock that
Devin Walker was coming back.
And SNL in general.
Yeah, we thought there was a chance that he might not come back.
He would not come back
Yeah.
because if anybody heard what he was saying, why would you invite him back?
He didn't seem to give much.
He hated his time on Saturday Night Live. He was miserable. Maybe it would be easier if he said maybe it would be easier if I was a white guy.
Yeah.
You know, he basically called the show out for a lot of things. He said, don't meet your heroes. Chris Rock is, I mean, without saying it, Chris Rock's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
It was very jarring. So I'm still looking at that through the lens of like, okay, Chris Rock's hosting and he's not that fucking good at this. And he's clearly kind of a dick. So why am I rooting for him? You know?
Yeah. That's understandable. But yeah, there were so many fun little things that I liked in this sketch. Like when Chris Rock calls Heidi Gardner Wheels. And he's like, my name is Stacy. It's like, yeah, but your last name is Wheels. Yeah, but he wasn't saying it like that.
So, and the jump rope and then the pan down is great.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
absurdist it's perfect. It's really great.
Chloe Fineman's bit too about tampons is like, now I can stop buying new dresses.
Exactly. Every character had something fun and weird enough to say, but still grounded enough where it was like, oh, fun, now something to eat. They didn't go crazy with it.
Yeah.
It was just smart enough on those jokes. I just wish that they gave a real meaty role there to Chris Rock and he fumbled it too much for me.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because I love the premise of some guy that's like, but what if you'd probably be the medical director at a hospital like you are now. Nah.
Homer doesn't hit Marge.
Yeah, I don't remember the episode where Homer hits Marge. These are great bits.
All right, moving on. Grandpa's Magic Car, a group of people played by Chris Rock, Andrew Dismukes, Ego Wodum, Chloe Fineman, Marcelo Hernandez, and Devin Walker, finds an old car while helping their friend, played by Mikey Day, clean out his grandfather's barn. This is a pre-tape and very funny.
Yes. If there's a high point in this episode, this is absolutely it. It works because Chris Rock doesn't have to read off of cue cards. He gets to just do normal acting. And the premise itself is hilarious.
Very funny.
Oh, so good.
So funny. Just the timing of the car door shutting and like just the cutting.
Also, just the smile of the car made me laugh. I mean, it's just so silly and funny.
Things like this work so well when you see them coming and it's still hilarious.
Yeah.
Like we could have all seen that like the two black actors were gonna go. Or sorry, no. Originally, there's two doors in the back, right? And so the two doors lock. Yeah. Right. I saw that coming, and I'm like, all right, let's see what. And it got funnier from there. It was just really well done.
Yep. And again, that's a testament to the writing of this sketch, because when you can be a little bit predictive of where the sketch is going, but they're still making you laugh.
Unpredictable enough because I'm laughing so hard at what's coming out of their mouths.
It also looked really good. Yeah, the effects were really, like I said, the dumb smiling car, even that's a digital effect. That's good. It works. Really enjoyed this sketch. And I mean, we haven't gotten through the whole episode, but I think this will probably be my sketch of the week.
I mean, the escalation there, too, of just like smacking Chloe Fineman in the butt, spraying her with the windshield wiper fluid to get her shirt wet. And the ending is hilarious, too, because it leans you into the thing of Party in the USA, and it's like, all right, everyone in the car. It's like, well, there's only one thing we can do, and they just fucking set the barn on fire.
Yeah. So, again, that's amazing escalation because I didn't see that coming, actually. I was like, oh, there's only one thing we can do, like burn the car alive. It's amazing.
All right, moving on. Sexual harassment Charlie. Two employees.
Sexual harassment Charlie. That's what it makes you think of.
Okay.
You know, sexual harassment panda from...
Yeah, I got it.
Or from South Park.
Yep.
You remember when there was a panda?
Cool.
Okay.
All right. Two employees, portrayed by Chris Rock and Kenan Thompson, expressed their apologies to their coworkers, Bowen Yang, Sarah Sherman, Heidi Gardner, Ego Wodum, and Mikey Day, after being fired alongside Andrew Dismukes. This is Kenan Thompson's Charlie character's third appearance. Mm-hmm. The first appearance was in what episode? Hosted.
That was Candice Bergen, 1984.
No.
Okay.
It's actually a little bit on the nose.
Chris Rock.
Wasn't it Scarlett Johansson?
Chris Rock 2020.
That's the second episode.
Okay. I don't remember the first one then.
Jim Franco.
Ooh. Yikes.
Yeah, that makes sense. I love Kenan doing this character. The way he yeah, I mean, just the way he says all the things just so innocently and excitedly, like it really does make you feel like, oh yeah.
I would also give him a pass.
There's some truth to this too, because like my girlfriend Evelini lives in Chicago. She's got a doorman at her apartment and everything, and they're all old guys, right? They're all old, kind, but like also sometimes they say stuff, and I'm like, you wouldn't get away with saying that at 34-year-old guy.
Give me a little spin in that dress.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, there's my little spicy tamale.
Yeah, you're looking beautiful tonight, Miss Evelini, kind of thing. Give us a little smile. 35-year-old creepy dude doesn't get away with saying that.
Maybe after I'm the doorman, I can be the bed man.
Yeah. You know what? Oh, Charlie. Oh, you rascal.
So, what'd you guys think of this? Did you like it or no?
I liked Kenan in it.
Yeah, I like the character a lot, and
nothing really new,
no,
right?
But I liked it enough, and it's
nice to bring back a character that I hadn't seen in a long time
for him to do it, and everybody else just kind of plays along. And again, it would have been better if Chris Rock as the straight man here would have delivers his lines as he was supposed to instead of fumbling them. Like again, this is just it. I'm gonna be sick of saying that over and over again, but it takes you out of it.
Yeah.
But I'm getting the impression that you didn't love Chris Rock in this episode.
I hated him in this episode. I really wish that they would not have chosen him to host this episode. It was bad. No, the episode wasn't bad. He was bad.
All right, weekend update. I'm gonna read the description, and then I'm gonna ask my friend and co-host Ben to describe the pedometer. At this point, Brad, you can actually start putting the number in. Okay, let me read the description. Weekend Update host Colin Jost and Michael Che discuss this week's major headlines, including a drone crash in a New Jersey backyard and whale meat selling for $650 per pound at an auction in Japan. And there's some Weekend Update bits as well. I'll read those real quick as well. A bald man played by Andrew Smook stops by the Weekend Update desk to discuss the UK judge's ruling.
That's not a bald win, as we discussed before.
Man.
A bald man.
And then Jane Wickline arrives to discuss Sabrina Carpenter's Netflix special and perform a song. So Benny,
Nate and I's favorite sketch performer.
Yeah, Jane Wickline.
A bald win is a hair loss.
So for our new listeners,
all right. Hey, submit that to the New Yorker there, Brad. Put that one in your packet.
It's gonna be in Laffy Taffy.
Oh boy!
For our new listeners to the show, welcome. Ben's going to describe the pedometer real quick for you.
Yeah, much like a Rotten Tomatoes style rating, where 100% would be something like Shawshank Redemption and 0% would be like Larry the Cable Guy farts on your face. We give Brad the opportunity to give us a number. The higher the number, the better the interaction between Colin Jost and Michael Che are. There is influence by how good Weekend Update is overall, but generally we're speaking about the interaction, camaraderie, and general just horseplay between the two Weekend Update anchors. It really doesn't have much to do with the two update characters. This is mainly just about the Che Jost spectrum.
That's pretty good. Way to go.
Thank you.
All right, so...
And also, Brad is a liar, and everything is just wacky these days.
He's the worst.
It used to be a
every
reliable
listener
barometer.
of this show tells us Brad's the worst.
They comment all the time.
Wacky man, here comes the wacky man.
All right, you ready? We're going to say it at the same time.
Are we? It's a 1, 2, 3, and we say the number?
1, 2, 3, say it.
So it's like I'll fake it, right? 1, 2, 3, 47. Like that's how we're going to say it.
Okay, all right.
Ready? 1, 2, 3,
84.
I said 88. You said 84.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
Is anybody on the nose?
No.
Is anybody even close?
Kind of.
Fun.
91.
Really?
Yeah.
So Michael J. looks over at Colin Jost and says, "That's 4 groaners in a row," and Jost really does react there. Other than that, I didn't think.
I just thought it was okay. And that was okay.
So then So then I said 80, and I go, it's broken. 10% more.
So you added some because you thought.
So this was a similar situation to last weekend where they didn't have a lot of direct interaction, but there was like
which is literally
the pedometer.
Well, that'll boost it huge. but there was still a lot of like general camaraderie between the two.
You're making things up.
It's a vibe. You just feel it. I'm sorry you're not in tune with Jost and Shay like I am, but like we're like buddies, you know? Like if we were to meet up at the pub down on the corner, you know, we'd walk in and it would just be like old friends hanging out.
Hey Nate, do you know what I have to say about the Brodometer these days?
It's broke.
It's the 90s, Nate.
You get it because that's
all he ever says anymore. Like
That's in the show.
It's his only thing that he does
Yeah,
now.
leave it to Ben to say the thing that's not funny on Weekend Update anymore.
I actually thought that was pretty clever.
It's
Brad,
not.
what I just did, I thought it was pretty clever.
No, not good.
Let's talk a little bit about the Weekend Update bits. What did you think of Andrew Smukes playing the ball man?
Very fun. Very fun.
So walk me through this. Why? I mean, it was funny.
Well, there was a current event that inspired it.
Really? Was it really?
Did you not watch the fucking
whole
sketch?
Sketch is based on this courtroom.
Oh, sorry. No, I mean, I didn't know that was a real thing.
No, Saturday
Yes.
Night Live is a real show.
Yeah, and in the UK there was a thing where like they had like there was a group of people who voted on a thing as far as like referring to a man as bald could be considered bullying.
The judges, right? That this, because again, when we're talking about hate speech, we're talking about bullying. You have to decide what is bullying.
Yeah.
And so if I'm making fun of Brad because, as you know, Brad is balding.
I'm not balding. I just have thin hair by default. I'm not losing any hair.
Well,
I mean, is that
you have less hair than you
No,
had
that's true.
yesterday.
no? Is that what you?
Is that what you're going to call it?
I have always had thin hair.
Oh, okay.
Nate,
No,
you've
that's-
known me for like 5 years.
Okay, but no, that's fine that you say that. That's fine.
That's cute. That's really not really rich coming from old thick head of hair over there.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah, it must be nice from your fucking high tower.
I do like that Nate's punching down right now.
Yeah.
He's got this lustrous, thick
Yeah,
head
tell me
hair.
more with your cool swoop coif on top of your head there.
It looks like a bird is perched on your head. That's how much you
A
have.
little bit of a Conan.
A bit of Conesy
No,
Donesy.
more like a hair Nazi.
He's whoa.
Yeah.
Got dark, but so
But to me, they just did a
But it
whole
would be
big,
like me saying, Brad, hey, baldy guy. And it's like, well, okay, no, when you say that, you're bullying Brad.
But they just did a whole like bald performance thing on Bill Burr.
Yeah,
so
but that sucked.
I know, but like I don't know.
This was funnier. I thought
It was fine.
I thought this was really funny, especially the physical bit of
really
making him
funny or just kind of funny? Because I thought it was kind of
It was
funny.
kind of funny.
kind of funny. What the bit with the turtleneck and making him look like a
No, that was good.
an Old Spice deodorant.
That was
Yeah,
good.
That was
good.
really funny.
That was good.
No, I thought this Mukes is what made it.
No,
I think.
and that's. I mean, you can say that about anything, right?
Yeah.
He's so good these days. I just love him so much.
Speaking of good, Ben, what did you think of Jane Wickline?
I really laughed a lot
What did you like the best?
about her performance this time
Yep.
Yeah.
as Sabrina Carpenter explaining her sexuality.
Yeah. Do you regret discounting her? And
I was the one. Oh fuck you guys! I
You
was
were the one.
I was the one.
Oh.
I
you
said
were the
that's
one.
rich.
I said
No, I was the one.
No,
and
no,
you were in the middle.
No.
Yeah.
I said point blank, and listener, go back and listen. I said Jane Wickline will become most people's favorite by the end of the year, and you both, terrible. That's exactly how I remember it. She was great.
Your memory is fading as an old man because that's not how it happened.
I don't remember this at all. No, it was fun. It was like I liked this one so much because I didn't know where it was going. I was so utterly confused by the first couple iterations, and then as I started to catch on as an old man, it was very funny.
Yeah, it's. I will say I do think that she struggled with the timing a little bit at first because it didn't seem like she was working well with the melody.
But I don't know if that's like not on purpose. That's
yeah,
the crazy part.
I do think that there is a part of it that works because of that. But then it felt like it was in sync after the first part.
And I don't know. Again, I don't know if that's purposeful because if it's a masterstroke if it is because it's like off putting and you're like, what? I don't know what's going on. And
Because
then
we don't know enough about her comedic style, so you don't
Other
know
than
if some
she's
of
very
those
good.
idiosyncrasies are part of her comedy bit. I still find her slightly awkward. And
but that's the point, though. That's the point.
I think that is the point, Nate.
but not in a funny way. Andrew Smukes is awkward, but I find that funny.
Kyle Mooney's awkward.
Kyle Mooney is awkward, and
I
that
think
is
she's
funny.
awkward too. I just don't think.
Is it because she's a woman, Nate?
Yeah. Are you afraid of funny women?
No, Sarah Sherman's awkward, and I find her very funny.
Sarah Sherman's quirky. She's not awkward.
Okay, all right, yeah, I'll give you that.
Name an awkward comedian that you love, Nate.
Melissa Villaseñor was awkward,
She's quirky.
She was just bad.
but I feel like you're just saying
She was.
I wow.
She was great at impressions and nothing else.
Because she's like the lone Latina on the show.
Yeah, real nice, Ben.
Oh,
You guys are really showing your white colors tonight.
Oh boy.
No, I think what I really liked about this actually.
Do you like how I flipped that back to you? Because I didn't have
I feel like
Such
this premise has layers because not only is the song kind of about people questioning like Jane Wickline's sexuality and that, but also the how outrageous it is that like people see Sabrina Carpenter and other stuff and like, oh no, she's straight, she's just fucking around.
Yeah.
No, I did like the premise of it.
love-
The premise was very good.
That's a good get for her. Like that take is very funny.
And I was fully on board when she went back and mentioned kissing Jenna Carpenter or Jenna Ortega a second time.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, yeah, this is really and it only got stronger as it went on.
So, and I think
Is
that
Sabrina Carpenter
to her
gay?
credit, that is what Jane Wickline is very good at, right?
Yeah.
It's the train leaving the station. It takes a while to get there, but once it's on, you're really now we're cooking with gas, as they say.
Yeah.
Did you guys like this better than her first song?
I think it's stronger comedically
I
than her,
thought so
her
too.
first song.
Yeah, I laughed at this
but
one
I was
more
also
than
on board from the beginning. So
you and I both were, but like Ben just
Listen
I
to-
think because
listen to
he's
the
from
episodes.
this rural part of Indiana,
Just listen. To
he
the episode.
doesn't
You'll
really
see.
get a
You'll
lot
see.
of people that are
You'll
different than
see.
him. But
Wow.
I mean, it just
I'm all aboard the Wickline Express.
all right. Moving on, Gallbladder Surgery, written by Sarah Sherman, Sarah O'Sullivan, Jimmy Fowler, and Dan Bullough. The only sketch I have the writing for. A gallbladder surgery goes off the rails when a nurse, played by Sarah Sherman, makes a fatal mistake. With Chris Rock, Ego Woden, Bowen Yang, and Emil Wacom as the doctors, it features a cameo by longtime former cast member Adam Sandler. Now, did you guys remember Adam Sandler or no?
I don't know who he is.
I was like John Rudnitsky, Luke Knoll, Adam Sandler. Like it's like
So
Jerry Minor.
this was a sketch that I was okay with. Like it was funny.
Oh, Nate.
But it became a lot funnier, right, when everything started going bad.
Did it?
But no, it did. It was there were some funny bits in there, and they're having fun.
this is just
Nate,
this
no.
is just Adam Sandler realizing what's going on and being like, yeah, fuck it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
all this is.
But I laughed at that. Like Adam Sandler's just like understanding that everything's going to hell. So I'm just gonna.
This is Adam Sandler pulling his best Pete Davidson and not giving a shit.
Yeah. Like,
yeah, but the blood broke. It didn't work.
yeah, to a certain extent.
So he's like, "What am I gonna do?"
I agree that it was amusing once he got it working again and was like directing, spraying. You could see everything, but none of this was good. The premise itself, if it would have worked like on its own, the Sarah Sherman character feels like it's an all that bit of like, oh, she keeps messing things up.
I didn't know why that was the thing that
Yeah.
they were focused on. Like they were like, what if Gilly was
Right.
a nerd or a doctor? Like it's just so weird
And
to
then-
have that happen.
And then the blood bit comes along. It's like, oh, this is the crux of the sketch. It doesn't work. There is some comedy that comes from it messing up for sure, but I was so confused by what was happening that I didn't understand like what was supposed to be happening until it did. And by the time it got there, I was just like, gosh, this fucking sucks.
Now, I didn't think that it sucked because I do feel like even though Sandler was like going a little too meta and like really just clearly showing the bit, that's about all you can do there. And so at least I got to see the joy of him like having fun with his friends.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, again,
And I
it's
do-
like being a fly on the wall, right? You always want to see like, oh, we're in on the joke together. There was enough of that where I was like, all right, fuck it.
I did think though that I don't know if the cast thought it was as funny because typically Bo and Yang is when a sketch breaks down, Bo and Yang is laughing.
I think that
he didn't seem to be laughing.
I think
much.
that they just didn't.
They weren't
like,
sure what was going to
Yeah,
happen.
like, am I going to get in trouble by Lauren? Because like Adam Sandler can do this. We
Yeah.
cannot. I think that there's a difference between Adam Sandler and Chris Rock being on the show and
Okay.
being able to do whatever they want,
But-
and the cast members being able to break and just like, literally improv.
The line to Emil Wacom, was that not funny to you? I thought it was
It's
hilarious.
funny, but that's absolutely not script.
That was-
There was no way that's in the script.
No, that's what I'm saying. He's like, and you, good for you. I bet your parents are happy.
So that's actually what I'm curious about. I want to know what the actual exchange between Sandler and those characters was supposed to be in that, because part of me wonders if the bit was supposed to be him like suddenly like directing it at everybody and saying something to them because he's frustrated
Absolutely
that
not.
he gets woken up.
I don't think so.
No way.
Interesting. I don't, so do you think the bit where he's like starts to saying that like it's going to get in Chris Rock's mouth is him improvising and making something happen, or was that supposed to happen?
I just don't think any of that was supposed
everything
to happen.
went off
I
the
think
rails.
everything when the pump stopped
Interesting.
working and then Sarah Sherman had to lean down.
Well, I know the repeated bit. Yeah.
Right.
That's, yeah.
But then everything after that, I think, was just him being like, "Come on!" It's like he just didn't even look at the cards anymore. He just did what he wanted.
I'd be interested to find out about
Seriously.
that. I hope that there's a story that comes out about what went wrong and
Yeah.
like what was supposed to be if it wasn't that.
And that's why, honestly, I think to give myself evidence here, the fact that Bone Yang, who is like the guy that would normally break if they're trying to have any semblance of keeping it, to the script, he's like, I don't know what we're doing here because that wasn't anything that was supposed to happen.
Yeah. Interesting.
That's why I'm thinking that.
Okay.
Sarah Sherman posted it on her Instagram, right? Leslie, right? That's the girl's name.
Leslie.
And so you've got like these comments on there, right? Paul Walter
Hauser?
wrote, "This sketch was so much fun," right?
Sure.
Carol Sullivan said, "Leslie girl, I know your heart and you did not mean any harm."
Just talking about the character.
Yeah. Other comments. This was the best. Wait, I thought you were his rabbi. This one is so rad. Killer sketch. We got so excited with this one. This one was so funny.
These are just the fans who are just like they'll lick Sarah Sherman's feet if she just walked in shit.
I know, but I
think it's more people that just love Adam Sandler.
I think so too, and they genuinely love when sketches break down.
Yeah.
Right.
I do too, but like this one just
It doesn't sound like you do.
Why do you hate comedy?
Hey, but you've hated Adam Sandler since like
Yeah.
Billy Madison.
Like his official review on Slash Room for Adam Sandler's stand-up comedy special, 100% fresh, was disagree, 100% rotten.
not even remotely true.
Just not doing the bit with us?
Nope.
Okay.
Not falling into that trap.
All right, moving on. Office Christmas Party Extravaganza. Office employees portrayed by Chris Rock, Mikey Day, Michael Longfellow, Heidi Gardner, James Austin Johnson, Marcelo Hernandez, Emil Walken. By the way, Emil Walken he's had an episode. He's had a lot. I mean, he didn't do a lot, but he's been in a lot of
He
sketches.
was in quite a few things.
Yeah, Jane Wickline and Ashley Padilla gather for their annual holiday party at work. Ben, what did you think of this one?
This is a poor man's version of Ass Dan and Jason Sudeikis.
Well, I think even more so, it's more like the there's a Christmas version of this that they did about
This
like,
is a Christmas version.
No, this was a
Or,
Christmas
sorry,
thing.
a
This was a Christmas
a Christmas church service version of this.
Yes,
one.
yeah.
That when Bobby Moynihan and Beck Bennett and all that were
That was
part of the
that
cast.
was pretty funny.
That's a hilarious one, and this is a much lesser version.
This
of
is
that.
like a poorly Xerox copy of
Yeah.
that, right? It's like,
I just watched the movie Office Christmas Party, and this is kind of part of like the comedy of that.
Yeah,
it's just like
There's amusing observations, but
thank you.
it's
been
not it's,
done
but yeah,
so many
not big
times.
enough, not
it.
fast enough.
That's it though.
Yeah.
These are
and
amusing
there's nothing new.
observations, and we're all like, oh yeah, okay,
Yeah.
come on. Like there's nothing outlandish enough here to make me laugh.
There's not enough of a contrast because that's what makes the church one so funny is how loud it is. It's like Sunday church, and then like it does a cut to Bobby Moynihan doing like the cheesy little pastor joke and Beck Bennett doing his polite little laugh. There's
Yep.
a great contrast.
Yep.
Here it doesn't feel like the contrast is as big.
Good, yeah, or just as cutting in the observation.
Yeah.
right?
I make
It's
more
like-
money on my OnlyFans than I do.
That was to me was the best
good
joke.
joke.
Yeah, and the way they made her look was great too.
Yep.
Um,
And maybe too because that's new, right? That is a new observation for an Office Christmas
Yeah.
Party, whereas everything else could have been in the 2015 or 18 film Office Christmas Party. And it's like there's nothing new here,
Yeah.
right? And so there was no new observations, nothing that really. It was well done. There was nothing wrong with it. It just nothing great.
it didn't feel like there were any peaks either.
Yeah,
You know.
Yep, for sure.
Lots of valleys though.
That's
so weird.
All right, moving on. Blind date. A blind date between a woman played by Ego Wodum and a man played by Chris Rock takes an unexpected turn Also features Marcelo Hernandez, Emil Walken,
Was this the
and
last-
Jane Wickline.
was this the last
This
one?
was the last one.
Well, there was the show, guys.
This
what was your favorite?
not good
What was your
at
favorite sketch?
all.
So here's the thing that was
Don't
so
even-
frustrating to me about this one. No, I didn't
No.
like
Okay.
it.
I was gonna say, if he's like, guys, you're wrong.
No, I didn't like. I didn't like it because the logic of this sketch is so bad. There's no reason for Ego Woodham's character to stick around for the Chris Rock date and like believe what's happening because she's already skeptical, but she deals with all the weird things like it's totally normal. But there's no indication that that character has any reason to accept those things and be fine with them. There needs to be some kind of established logic in the sketch as to why she's okay with it and not observing the weird things and not willing to walk away.
Or it needs to be so absurd where it's like a homeless man or something where the logic is so ridiculous.
like Tracy Morgan's homeless guy character.
Yes.
Woodrow.
Something absurd like that where it's like, okay, you're asking me to suspend logic.
Yeah.
Right?
So
then I can go there.
Nate, that's it. Ego Woodham's character, all there needed to be was, I don't believe you, but I'm going to sit here because I'm going to record this for my friends.
Yeah.
Anything like that. But instead it was like she's still looking for love even though he takes a steak off somebody else's plate.
Yeah.
What is going on there? Like, again, there's no grounded in reality moment here at all. And that was just frustrating because you take that and then you couple it with Chris Rock's inability to deliver any semblance of a line. And then Marcelo Hernandez comes in as, again, another weird character to sit down and drink another guy's drink or something. I don't know. That was just weird.
Yeah.
I do have a question for you guys, though, because we talked about Chris Rock not being the best host. I think we all three agree on this. We didn't talk about it, but I think we all agree. Is there a sketch that you think was better that we would rate lower because of Chris Rock, but without him maybe would have been a better sketch?
The Simpsons
Simpsons
sketch, yeah.
By far.
100%.
Yeah.
I would have loved to see somebody who could just take that and honestly, like I wouldn't change a word about the audaciousness of what he was talking about.
No, not at all.
You know, that was very well written, but just that delivery could have been so much better.
Yeah.
Because everybody else was having so much fun with and delivering their lines so well.
Yeah.
It was, of course, just jarring.
You put it like you think you put a Nate Bargatze in that and it's better?
No,
honestly,
he's
Nate
not-
Bargatze
he
doesn't do a good enough
What about
job.
a Paul Mescal?
He would have been fine, but I
Yeah.
think that if you put somebody like an Oscar Isaacs in that position,
I'm just looking at those in this season. Michael Keaton went great though in this.
It wasn't Michael Keaton's fault.
No, but like again, he didn't do a bad job of reading off the cue cards.
Maybe Mulaney.
I mean, Mulaney would have crushed it,
Yeah, Mulaney would have done really well.
but he's a sketch comedian, so that's not really fair.
Yeah,
Honestly, Charlie XCX probably would have done a fantastic
Yep.
job at that. She was tremendous.
was
yeah,
pretty good.
yeah, she was good. I was just trying to think of who would have maybe in this season would have been better, but I think you're right. I think that sketch was a very good sketch that got brought down by Chris Rock because the premise, I didn't see
How
the premise
many
coming.
how many sketches was Devin Walker in?
He was in the Christmas Santa sketch. He was in the Grandpa's Racist Car sketch.
Yep.
And
So yeah, he was in the Mall Santas and the Grandpa's Magic Car.
so there you go.
All right. I was just curious.
Makes sense.
Any other that you want to know?
No, that was the one because
Because of
Chris Rock.
because of what he said about Chris Rock.
Yeah.
So, in your opinion, I think we all know what the answer is. What was the best sketch of the night?
I mean, the car.
The Grandpa's Magic Car.
Yeah, Grandpa's Racist Car.
So good.
I'm never gonna call it the Magic Car.
Grandpa's racist car. Only second to the Simpsons sketch, and we all know
If the Simpsons sketch,
exactly. Yeah. And honestly, if the Simpsons sketch would have had somebody better, it probably would have been the better sketch. Honestly, because
Yeah.
that's that level of absurdistness is what I love. But the predictability of the pre-tape, there's not a shelf life, but there's like a peak that you can hit with that. But like I've never seen anybody do the Simpsons like that kind of sketch before.
Yeah.
I love the originality there. You know,
I agree with that. But who's the MVP?
Sarah Sherman.
Yeah, I would probably give it to Sarah
Interesting.
Sherman.
So
Again, though,
Nancy Grace.
Nancy Grace, and then I just the fact that watching the blood on her face in the Sandler stuff and just that interaction they had was utterly fantastic. I really like that aspect alone of like she's leaning down and that was the playfulness that you love when a sketch goes bad.
So Sarah
everything else
Sherman
around
in
them
this,
was
in this episode, Sarah Sherman obviously kicks off the episode as Nancy Grace. She's a parent in Mall Santas.
Right.
She's a coworker in Simpsons Christmas Gift. She's
the reaction person to
Michelle in Sexual Harassment Charlie. She is
Charlie.
Leslie in the Gallbladder Surgery. And she is work wife in Your Office Christmas Party. So she had, if nothing else, she had a very busy night. Other than she had the most sketches, but tied one other cast member. Who was it?
Emil Walken.
He also had 6.
Good for him.
Okay.
I give her a lot of credit for opening the show in that quote unquote political cold open and holding her own and making me excited about the show. I give her a lot of credit for that.
I honestly have a hard time. I don't think anybody was great in this because I thought it was a pretty poor episode.
But not necessarily. I don't think any of the cast members were bad.
I was gonna say, you almost said anybody, but that would have included Chris Rock. And he was bad.
Yeah, any of the cast members were bad.
Yeah, he was bad. He should
there
feel
also
bad.
Wasn't a ton of great sketches either. There was nothing that other than the pre-tape, but nobody in there really stood out.
No, I
right?
mean, on the as far as like sketches overall, but I think that each of the sketches, for the most part, with the exception of one in particular, technically 2, but each of the sketches I think did have a couple really good jokes in them, even if the sketch overall didn't work because Chris Rock fumbled a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
and they were fine. They just weren't great.
Beyond the Simpsons stuff, even something like scroll, Nate, so I can see real quick.
What are you looking for?
After the Simpsons?
Oh, after the Simpsons.
Oh, sorry.
Was, Grandpa's Magic Car, then sexual harassment.
Even
Charlie.
something like sexual harassment and the Santa Claus.
Yeah,
like those two they're not bad whatsoever. Chris Rock didn't ruin them, but like he was not the best part.
Yeah,
so like that's not to say those sketches are bad, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think there was only one genuinely bad sketch in this
Blind
one.
Date?
Yeah, and one that was just went off the rails and never recovered.
Right.
Yeah.
All the other ones would have been better.
Who was your MVP, Brad?
I think after hearing you guys talk about it, I think I agree with Sarah Sherman. Originally, I was thinking I would give it to Jane Wickline because I liked her musical Weekend Update bit so much, but like her bits that were funny were just small bits. Like her mere appearance as Santa number 3 is funny, just the way they made her look, and the OnlyFans line from the Office Christmas Party. But I think you're right. Sarah Sherman did a lot in this episode, and she did it really well.
Yeah, she was Santa number 3, right?
Yeah, Wickline was.
Yeah, but she was good.
We're gonna give her an honorable mention because, as I've said all along, heir apparent to Sarah Sherman.
You're Wicklinian in your affection
belief system.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a Wicklinian.
Hey guys, we're not done for the year though.
No, we got one more big episode
I'm
coming.
David fucking Hasselhoff.
Oh my gosh.
I'm really excited about next week because we got one more Christmas episode, and you guys know I love Christmas.
You love Christmas.
And he's been a Christmas host before.
Yeah.
So who do we got next week, buddy?
Martin Short.
Marty Short.
Musical guest Bjork. No? Who is the musical guest?
I don't remember.
It's so funny.
Well, it's Bjork.
We're really
featuring
good.
Sinead O'Connor.
I know who it's not. It's not Gracie Abrams.
Why not? Why can't she come back?
Just was. Well, you
But
know
why
what?
can't
Love to
she?
see that back-to-back episode.
Wouldn't that be funny? Why don't they get like a Michael Bublé again? Wouldn't that be fun?
No.
I love
Like
Michael
somebody
Bublé.
like a.
What do you got against Bublé?
Nothing. I just don't want to see one of those people on the show.
Oh, I know who it is. It's Hosier,
Oh, I like Hosier.
Somebody that I used to know.
and he's gonna
That's
sing.
Gautier.
Yeah, that is Gautier. But he's gonna sing a song off of his new Christmas album.
Does he have a new Christmas album?
No.
I would have been interested.
Take me to church. It's midnight mass and all.
Okay.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
It's not bad.
Can't carry a tune, but you know,
Hey,
All right.
hey,
Hey,
that's hurtful.
Brad,
you couldn't carry a tune in a rubber.
real quick to
What?
A condom,
A tune in a rubber?
right?
I don't understand what that means.
You're just bad at it.
Brad, real quick for our listeners.
Condom is made to hold things, and you can't carry a tune in it.
Peacock has released some.
Speaking of condoms, Peacock.
Peacock has released some like a press release for some stuff coming up for Saturday Night Live.
How would you know? You didn't read it.
You sent that's what I was gonna say. You put it in our chat thread. I didn't read them.
I don't read anything you say.
Because you send a lot of stuff.
You send
like
it all the time.
To be fair,
It's too much.
It's constantly. It's like get a job. All right.
This is coming from the two guys who, once they sit their ass on the fucking toilet, send about 50 fucking Instagram links and TikTok reels.
But our never TikTok.
Every time
Every
time I see a stream of 3 to 4 videos come from Ben or I'm like, oh, someone's taking a shit.
But they're so funny though. There you are.
Now, a lot of times I'm just sitting in my car waiting to go into the house.
Yeah, no, I'm like, you know what Brad needs is a funny
a
video.
good laugh.
A funny chuckle.
And you know what? What's better than 1, Nate? 2
or 3.
And what's better than 2? 3.
You know what I love is when Ben sends me stuff because I laugh. I like to laugh, unlike some people.
Yeah. Why do you hate Joy?
I don't watch any of your fucking videos.
Wow.
No, I'm just kidding. They're usually pretty funny. January 16th on Peacock, there will be a 4-part SNL docuseries called SNL 50 Beyond Saturday Night. And Morgan Neville is the executive producer. He directed some pretty great documentaries such as Won't You Be My Neighbor and 20 Feet from Stardom, a couple great documentaries if you haven't seen them. And so the first episode is called 5 Minutes. It's a showcase of the SNL audition process. Episode 2 is called Written By, A Week Inside the SNL Writers' Room. Pretty self-explanatory.
Geeks like us, we're going to love this.
Oh, yeah. We'll be salivating at this stuff.
Episode 3, More Cowbell, a deep dive into the iconic More Cowbell sketch, exploring how that simple idea became this huge sketch.
Oh,
and
wow,
then,
that's interesting. Just to do a document.
One sketch.
Yeah, I think it's the idea of showing like the evolution of like the inception of an idea to like executing the sketch and it becoming this like pop culture phenomenon.
And how Will Ferrell just keeps asking for a smaller and smaller shirt.
Yeah. Episode 4 is season 11, The Weird Year, and this will explore the year that reset the show's direction and then basically like cemented the fact that Lorne Michaels is the one that keeps the show like running, and like that's why it works. It's because he knows what he's doing. He knows how to wrangle these comedians and stuff like that.
So what was that? 1987?
85 to 86. Who was the cast members?
It's post Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, of course.
But like, who was that cast?
You want me to read you?
Yeah.
All right. Joan Cusack, Robert Downey Jr., Nora Dunn, Anthony Michael Hall, John Lovitz. How is that, John Lovitz? Was that
I
okay?
love John Lovitz.
That's pretty good.
Okay. Dennis Miller, Randy Quaid, Terry Sweeney, Denitra Vance, A. Whitney Brown, Al Franken, Don Novello, Dan Vitale, and Damon Wayans.
Big cast.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see that episode then, because
For sure.
it's like this cements him as the
Because
with that cast.
Well, yeah. Well, I think it's the idea. Like, that's why it's called The Weird Year, though. Is that like
Sure.
coming back, trying to figure that out, and
how we don't need to answer this right now, but how many of those actors or performers were on the previous year? Was this? It wasn't a complete reboot, right?
No, I think it was.
So like Anthony Michael Hall wasn't on the year before, or Robert Downey Jr. wasn't on the year before.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, I can tell you who the cast was. Season 10 was Jim Belushi, Billy Crystal, Mary Gross, Christopher Guest, Rich Hall, Gary Kroger, Julie Louis-Dreyfus, Harry Shearer, Martin Short, and Pamela Stevenson. So, yeah.
Wipe the slate clean.
Wow.
Yeah.
And especially when now again, you look at that cast and then what Lorne Michaels had, and you go, holy shit, the previous one is almost a who's who.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Billy Crystal and Martin Short.
No, and then season 12.
Yeah, so right after that first tumultuous year.
Dana Carvey, Nora
There we
Dunn,
go.
Phil
Yeah.
Hartman,
Yeah.
Jan Hooks, Victoria Jackson, John Lovitz,
Wow.
Dennis Miller, A. Whitney Brown, and Kevin Nealon.
Yeah.
So 3 holdovers.
Yeah.
Yep. And then I feel like Dana Carvey starts a whole
that's the
new,
rocket ship. Yeah.
right? Like
Not the Charles rocket ship, though.
yeah, Dana Carvey, Phil Hartman. I mean,
Yeah.
geez Louise, two of the
John Lovitz.
I do love John Lovitz.
No, listen. Why? I don't know. I mean, R.I.P. But
And then also, just to tease this far out, the Saturday Night Live 50th anniversary primetime celebration special will be happening on February 16th, which is a Sunday. And we are going to watch it as it airs live. And we will be doing a show recording immediately after it airs. So make sure you check in for that after the primetime special.
oh, now he's locked in our commitments.
I didn't know we agreed on that, but that's fine.
We
It's
said,
fine.
we
It's
said
fine.
we'll talk about it, but
And then finally, Ben and I really love a new film that came out that you can, I think it's on VOD now. And we'd love in the comments to let us know, because this is kind of an ongoing debate that we're having here amongst the three of us. Ben and I love this film called Saturday Night Live, or Saturday Night.
He doesn't even know the name of the movie.
Saturday Night Live. Brad hates it.
It's like our love for Jane Wickline and Saturday Night, the movie.
Again, he can't even say the title either. You guys are two dumb fucks.
We're just bumbling over it because we just can't believe
No,
it.
you're bumbling
No, we
because you're
really
not.
liked
hate it
it.
so much.
You know what you guys are? You're the fucking Bumble brothers.
You just hate it so much. I just my love and your hate, they just can't mix.
I hate it so much that my quote is on the cover of the fucking physical media release of Saturday Night.
That's a dying industry.
One of the best movies of the year.
Hey, speaking of one of the best
Print
movies
it.
of the year, when is now for our listeners? Brad is an editor at /film. Ethan Anderton is his
Ethan underscore Anderson.
Nom de plume.
pretend name, but
Pretend name is the best way to say it.
Yeah, it's his pretend name.
But when is your top 10 list coming out?
Never.
Well, it's been another episode of Saturday Night Live.
Do you not do it? You
flick
do the top
yourself.
10 list, right?
So things have shifted at /film as far as how we normally do the tips.
I don't work there anymore.
Things shifted. Things shifted at
Things
/film.
have shifted at /film. I'm
And I am no longer part of
the.
the team.
So I'll be releasing my top 10 list on Twitter.
If you want to follow me on X,
Blue
No.
Sky is gonna have my new shit.
I don't know if it was last year was the first year or the year before, but the individual lists from each of the core /film people, like the OGs people who carried over from the previous version of the site to when we were purchased by Static Media. The individual lists don't get huge traffic. It's just the main /film list that's cumulative. There will be a top 20 on /film, and I think probably it's out by the time this goes up because I believe it goes live.
okay. So then,
On Tuesday.
little secret for our listeners here, because again, /film people don't listen to this, I'm sure. Where did you put?
There's definitely some /film people listening.
Where did you put Saturday Night in your personal list?
So I don't have my personal list figured out yet, but that's not the way that we figure out the cumulative /film list.
What are we
'cause
doing
it's
here?
Not. It's not just like a handful of people anymore. Like we had a big, like thing where the /film staff overall kind of.
Oh, so you don't just like you do your top 10, and then we're
No.
gonna weight them all, and then like this, it's like
Actually,
we're gonna put
if
like
you-
20 lists together and then rank them.
You can actually hear how we did it in a specific episode of the /film Daily podcast that is coming out. It's either this week or during Christmas.
How
week.
argumentative does it get?
It actually is pretty fun. There are some debates and there are some things that where people like they do want to push for a certain movie and like it has the same support on either side, or there's another movie that has an equal amount of support.
Okay, do you know what the top 10 is?
I don't know off the top of my head. I know what the number one movie is for sure.
You want to spoil that?
No,
When we stop recording, will you tell us?
I'll tell you right now. It's a Nora.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's
Stupid
of course.
French film.
Yeah.
It's not French at all.
Okay.
All right.
And when you watch a Nora, you'll like it for
More like
a myriad of reasons.
Hey,
Like a Sonora.
I've seen Honora before. Every time I go home, because that's my daughter's name.
we
She said
can
Nora.
end the whole show
Just-
right now.
yeah,
This is
well,
the
you
last
know,
episode.
no
We won't be back.
Yeah.
We won't.
sorry,
I'm
sorry, Martin Short.
Yep.
Sorry, 50th
Yeah.
anniversary.
Sorry, no.
This has been good, but
Nope. It's not been good though.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's why we're stopping.
All right. Well, you can find us online. Please do rate and review us. Let us know. We do love when you give us comments in the review. We share them. We laugh about them. You guys are every bit as funny or funnier than Ben.
It's true.
So, again, rate, review us, like us. If you have not liked us on Facebook or Twitter, come and like us. Again, be our friend. All right, we'll be back next week with another new episode. Let us know what you liked in this episode. What was your MVP? What was your sketch of the night? Where did we go right or wrong? Let us know in the comments. Thanks so much for listening. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. Bye-bye.